Shanti, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning, Sister Pratibha. Good morning, Sister Pratibha. Hope you're keeping well.
I'm well. I hope all of you are doing well.
Yes, thank you. Shanti.
So that was a lovely meditation, a simple little exercise to really take us into a deep feeling of calmness. So all of you feeling nice and calm? Yes.
Very much, yes.
Oh, great.
Yes, sister, thank you.
Good. There's a lovely saying that's part of our Living Values program for children, and it goes, I'm awake, alive, alert, and enthusiastic. And of course, each part of that goes with a particular movement, but it's so nice to wake up each day and just feel I'm awake, alive, alert, and enthusiastic, ready for my day. So, one of the key things that when we really deepen the practice of soul consciousness, that plays a very significant role for all of us, and that leads to that state of calm and clarity, is really that when I am being soul conscious, then I am being very present to the moment. I was really reflecting on it this morning in a way that we in the renumerate or think about or tend to recall a lot of what has happened. It occupies a lot of our mental space. And what happens is when we keep thinking about what has happened, it sustains the emotions that were triggered at that time as well. So we stay mentally and emotionally in a stuck energy. It's in the past. And so whatever the present comes to offer us, and each moment in the present is offering us a new opportunity, but it's like I can't see the opportunity, nor can I take the benefit of what is being offered to me right now because I'm stuck in the past. So to really check and see that when I wake up each day, that is there a feeling of freshness and just being present. And that's why our early morning meditation is so important, because it's really to clear out the mental space and to clear out the heart and to refresh my heart, refresh my vision, refresh my mind, or create that newness. So that's one element that tends to occupy a lot of our space emotionally and mentally. And whatever occupies our space emotionally and mentally then also becomes our attitude. Because this attitude then becomes the filter for everything. But I was also thinking in terms of how much of my mental space and my emotional space is caught up in the future. And that too is something to become very aware of, because sometimes we almost like predict what is going to happen. And it can either put us into a state of fearfulness and worry, because we sometimes, it's like almost like human nature, we tend to predict the worst. And so then whatever situations are occurring, I tend to exaggerate it in my mind. And so how much of what is happening in my mind is an exaggeration of what I think can happen? How much of it is just my imagination? And so to become aware of that and become aware of what is the emotional state it is creating for me inside. And so one thing is we can worry, and it can create that fear. And we all react to fear differently. Some of us will feel overwhelmed by the fear, or we withdraw because of the fear, or we get stuck because of that fear. We like freeze, And some of us, how we deal with the fear that's generated is we start preparing ourselves and finding ways of defending ourselves. So a lot of overthinking starts happening in preparation for something that hasn't yet happened. And that's where we also see that a lot of our mental energy gets used up. And so just being aware that how we waste our internal energy, and that's why we don't have then energy and capacity to actually cherish the moment, to actually serve the moment, to actually take the benefit of the moment. So a subtle checking, because each one of us, we deal with it differently, but a subtle checking within to see what's happening internally and where is it that I'm being focused. So part of soul consciousness, coming back to just being aware, I'm this being of energy, this consciousness, coming back to center, coming back to peace, becoming very present, and also remembering that when I am soul conscious, then I can access the powers and the virtues that are in me. You know, whatever the soul needs is in the soul, but I have to tune myself in so that I can access that. So we're going to watch a little video now that is on this topic of how we get burnt out. And then we'll, after watching the video, there's another angle to this that I'd like to pick up. So I'm going to ask Danielle to play us the video, and then we'll take it from there. Thanks. Danielle, are you able to play the video? There we go.
My battery ran flat. I ran out of power. Do you copy? How am I gonna get out of here?
I know.
Wait! Where do you come from?
Oh, I love your spacesuit. What happens if I push this button?
Wait! Little bear? What are you doing here? Ouch! Sirius Academy. I forgot about that.
Come on, let me show you my rocket.
Oh, battery crystals!
How does it feel to be a space explorer? You must have seen amazing things. Oh, once your ship starts working, will you take me to Sirius?
I'm not going to Sirius. And I'm not a space explorer.
So what do you do?
My job is to repair antennas.
Oh, but I wanted you to be an explorer.
Yeah, well, I do what I want.
Doesn't look like it. I saw the way you looked at the poster.
It's way harder than you think. And it's too late now. I have to go back to my ship.
Too late? You're just afraid.
Aren't you ever afraid?
I'm afraid of giving up my dreams when I grow up. I will never give up.
I know you won't.
Stella, what happened? You need to return to base immediately. What are you doing?
I'm setting a new course.
There was a sweet little video that I found, and yeah, does it stir any thoughts for any of you having watched that? Any thoughts?
To be
from-
more courageous and not to give up.
To be courageous and not to give
Yeah.
up.
See the
Yeah.
power in yourself.
Not to give up on your dreams. You know, I think that is such an important thing. So often what happens is, as we become adult in a way, we let go of our dreams of what we're really wanting to do, and we get caught up in this whole rat race of wanting to, achieve things on an external basis, but also in this kind of a way of thinking of looking at our responsibilities and becoming burdened by them. And that innovativeness, that creativity, that lightness, that ability to dream and to see beyond the ordinary, we compromise that, and we allow that to get quite suppressed. And I think what's significant about this is many times when we do that to ourselves in a way, then whatever we do becomes very burdensome. And that then makes us heavy, and that makes everything feel laborious. And sometimes that's what happens with regards to burnout. Where does burnout come from? It's in some ways we all have a passion. And, to ask yourself, what is your passion? Are you still living your passion? Is it, when you were a child or a teenager or just starting up into the world of work or whatever, did you hold that passion, and is it still alive, or have you buried it somewhere? Because if you've buried it somewhere, then what happens is that it's whatever you're doing then comes from a place of duty and labor. And then it becomes a struggle to actually do it. And so I find it's very important to keep that spirit inside of oneself, of what one's dreams are and what one's passions are, and to make space for it and time for it. Yes, are there any other thoughts? If anyone else would like to share. another aspect that I found very useful, and it was very much from a workshop that I had attended many years ago. And it was really that when work becomes play, then you got it right. And I always remembered that yes, we do have responsibilities to fulfill. Yes, we do have certain tasks that we need to perform. But really, I think very much sometimes it's not the actual task that we're performing, but it's the actual attitude behind the task that is very important. Many years ago, when I was still working as a systems analyst at Woolworths, and one of the things that would happen is once you put in a new system into an organization, then there's the teething problems, and there's a lot of support work at that time. So of course my phone would ring a lot, because I was the first line of support for a lot of the issues that were coming up. And I remember going to work, and my office was on the second or third floor, and I would always take the stairs instead of the elevator, because it was time to reflect, time to take a bit of exercise. And as I would walk up those stairs, I always kept one mantra for myself. How is it that I see myself in terms of the context of my work? And if I just see myself, I'm just there to offer support, I'm just there as another programmer or whatever, it would feel very dull in terms of what I was doing. But I kept this awareness that, I'm here and I have a special role to connect with people and to share something positive with them. And so what would happen is, when that phone would ring for a very technical issue, I wouldn't just engage with it from that level, I'm here just to fix problems. But I would think of it as there's another person on the other side of this call, and let me create a relationship with that person. How are you? How's your day going? Okay, what's the issue? Let's see how we can work it out. And it was like creating a connection, and knowing that my job there was more than just the technical side of it, but it was about building relationships. And so just working with that attitude, and let that attitude be behind even very technical work that I was doing, actually created a feeling of lightness. And what it did was that it never made me become heavy because of the problems that were emerging, but it became a feeling of resolving things together, rather than feeling I'm totally responsible for resolving things. And I must say that one lovely experience that I had from that was that at one point we were thinking of making changes, and the ideas for the changes came from the people who worked on the floor. Didn't come from people sitting behind desks in head office, but people from the floor. And it was almost because the relationship was created that it created the capacity for people to share. So for me, that was a big lesson, that it's the attitude. I need to give myself a higher attitude, a higher vision, a higher purpose behind what I do, so that even what I do may on the surface look ordinary, but because of my attitude, because of the way I engage with it and give it a higher meaning, it enriches my experience and doesn't drain my experience. So that's one thing that I found very important, is keeping that right awareness and consciousness within me behind the work that I do. And another thing that I've learned from Daddy Janki that always helped, and at times when I did feel drained or tired or whatever, that I would remember this of her. Daddy would always say that all of you get tired because you use your own energy. But I use God's energy, and so I never get tired. And it was a very deep thing of really, not thinking I am doing, but really working with this awareness and attitude that I'm an instrument for what needs to happen. And I think this consciousness of being an instrument, just to allow the energy to flow through me rather than thinking I am doing, in one way it doesn't feed the ego then, because it's our ego that measures, that counts, that needs validation. And many times when that is not being fed, that's when we get disheartened, and that's when we begin to feel tired as well. Then we don't see the kind of achievement that we want. But when I see myself as an instrument for what needs to happen and allow that energy to flow through me, then it's like I'm a witness to what is happening. And then I can celebrate in what is happening. And that keeps me light, that keeps me easy, and that keeps me free in a way. I stop counting, I stop measuring, I stop needing others to acknowledge, but the actual joy comes from the joy of just offering what needs to be offered in that moment. So some of you may have joined the silence retreat on Saturday, but it was this whole aspect on giving, and I used an extract of Khalil Gibran in there, and I loved what he said in there, that when he said, for those who give from the heart, the joy that comes from that, so the joy that comes from just offering myself in that regard is my reward itself. And for those who don't even think about that, if I do this, I'll feel good, but just offer in a very natural, free way. It's like he says, from those, it's like God's hands work through their hands, and God smiles through their eyes. And I really love that, in a way that if we really master that consciousness that I, the soul, am an instrument to offer light, I'm an instrument to offer whatever the need is in this moment, then that consciousness allows the energy to flow through me and doesn't deplete me, but I feel renewed and refreshed. And to keep that passion alive, in a sense, is also really to keep a higher vision and a higher meaning behind what I'm doing. So just to keep those few things in our awareness so that we don't get burnt out, that we sustain what is meaningful for us, and that we take out that element of I am doing or I am giving, but just allow what needs to flow through me, let it flow through me. So I stay light, I stay free, and I stay enthusiastic. So I wake up each morning feeling alive, awake, alert, and enthusiastic. So a good mantra to keep for myself, and to see that if I'm not feeling in that way, what am I doing, or what in my attitude is there that's blocking the energy for myself. So Bayanka has shared in the message, I'm living my dream and passion now where I am now. Said humbly with humility, there's more to learn. That's true. So it's a lovely feeling to come to that point where you're living your truth. Not so much what you feel is expected of you or demanded of you, but that you're living your truth. You're allowing your truth to flow through you. So yeah, those were a few thoughts that I had, and just looking at this whole subject of burnout and looking at different ways of observing the self and fine-tuning the self so that there's a sense of freedom and lightness and a renewed energy. Every day to feel my energy renewed so that I can be very present to what the present has to offer. Okay, so I'd like to leave a bit of space for any comments or questions from anyone. So do feel free to unmute yourself. It'd be lovely to hear your voice. Someone has shared, I live my highest calling, cooking and helping my family. Beautiful. That's it. It's not the task, but it's the awareness behind the task that makes the task elevated. So that's great. To serve with love. Beautiful. Anyone else would like to share?
Om
Okay.
Shanti.
Om Shanti Sherry, please go ahead.
I think sometimes we look at a lot of stuff as chores and duties. As soon as you have a bit of awareness, it doesn't become a chore and it doesn't become a duty. It becomes something that you really can love. Because I think you just need to have that shift in awareness. Don't go about it in a robotic fashion. Just be aware and pay attention, and then it becomes very different. It actually takes lesser time, and it's not laborious. It's not too much of energy expended.
And one would find that when you do things with the right awareness, you don't feel drained. You feel energized. Just think about times when we got together and you did things together as a family or whatever. Simple thing, preparing for a picnic. And, there's so much of enthusiasm behind it. And so there's a kind of an exchange of energy that happens. And it's uplifting. It's not depleting. So, our awareness plays a key role in terms of the experience we have. Yeah. Thank you. So just to go back and check the self in that regard. Great. So if there isn't any more contribution, let us just end off with a meditation. Okay. So sit comfortably and breathe in deeply. And with each breath, just hold that awareness of feeling grateful. My breath reminds me I'm alive. I'm aware. I'm healthy. I'm present here today. So just that deep feeling of gratitude. With each breath. And taking myself into a space of deeper peace. But as I hold this awareness of gratitude for this moment, together with that deep foundation of peace, my heart begins to feel a deep joy. Right now, right here, all is good. and I feel good. And I feel that joy, a deep joy bubbling inside of me, a deep joy reminding me that yes, today offers a new day with new opportunity, with the possibility of a new experience. And so this joy creates a deep feeling and attitude of enthusiasm. And enthusiasm is the joy of living. And as I hold this awareness within me, I become open and present to the little things in my life that can offer joy. The chirping of birds brings joy to my ears. The flowers in my garden bring joy to my heart. Just feeling the warmth of the sun, or even just the simple drinking of water and tasting the sweetness of it. Every moment there's something to be grateful. Every moment there's something to be present to really enjoy. Every moment offers a moment to make it rich, meaningful, beautiful, enjoyable. So I embark on today with this internal lens within me that whatever I do, whatever I see, whoever I meet, whatever engagement I involve myself in, I do it with love, I do it with joy, I do it knowing that it's a divine energy that's carrying me through. So hold that feeling of joy and fullness in your heart today. Om Shanti.